Okay, I'll explain what I want to do. You will have seen when I was working with Richard and Jeff trying to get Richard's truck running, we suspected the carburetor was no good. We may have been completely wrong with that. I'm wondering if we didn't actually get to the bottom of ignition problems that we were having. But what I said that I would do is I would take the carburetor off my truck, take it round, put it on his truck and see if it ran. Well, we're not doing that. Richard took the carburetor off his truck and brought it here. And I'm going to do a similar thing. I'm going to put this carb on this truck to see if this truck continues to run okay. This truck runs okay, this carb works fine. So if we can bolt Richard's carb on, if the truck no longer runs or just runs really poorly, we know it's the carb. If the truck runs just like it did now, we know we need to go and address the ignition. I've still got my doubts. I think I might have gone completely wrong on the ignition. I just don't know. So that's the simplest thing to do, isn't it? We'll bolt the carb on there and see if the engine runs. Okay, I'll get on with that then, and I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Okay, so I've fitted Richard's carb. The engine's just run, and it isn't hot, but it isn't cold either. I haven't got the choke hooked up because it's a different fitting on this carb. So the float bar won't be full, but it shouldn't take long to fill because the fuel is all primed. So let's see if it runs and starts. I'll put the ignition on. I can't remember if this one has a thingy bob switch. Yeah, it does. It's got a mechanics button, so we'll use that. So the moment of truth. That's interesting, isn't it? So it looks like it might be the carburetor then, because it doesn't want to run now. Let's try it with the choke. Well, I don't really know what to say. Let's have a think. I had to give it full choke to start, but you know, it was cold, so maybe it was cranking because the float bar was empty and it needed choke, so it needed that richness, so it has started now. With full choke, it seemed to rev okay. It's got no choke now. It doesn't seem clean as the revs come up. It's a bit messy. It isn't hot yet though. I suppose really can't tell much without driving it on the road, can we? But it does run and start. That's interesting. I've wound both idle screws right the way in. So there's fuel getting through even with both the idle screws closed. You know, the idle mixture screws. So what does that tell us? I'll turn it off and then I'll have a think about it. Well, it starts and runs, and it runs kind of okay, not great, but kind of okay. The sort of kind of okay running that you ought to have expected on a first start. We never achieved that kind of okay running. So that there's something different with this carb on this engine than there was with the carb on Richard's engine. Now, I've got both of those mixture screws wound all the way in, which means that there is fuel getting through the carburetor by other means. It shouldn't run like that. And those other means are normally associated with the power valve leaking. So I will take a look inside the carb and see if I can see what the problem might be. But the bottom line is that if the ignition and everything else on Richard's truck was the same as it is on this truck, it would have ran like this. So there is a problem with either the ignition, the timing, or something like, for instance, the fuel pressure, which I just can't answer. So it looks like it's going to take another session at Richard's to sort it out. But for all intents and purposes, on this engine, it kind of runs okay. It would have been good enough for a first start. Okay, thanks for joining me in the garage then. Just a little fact-finding mission, and I'm sure there'll be more on this subject. Thanks a lot. I'll catch you later. Hello. Right, I'm going to take this carb apart. I've got that metal block there so that it can stand up without, you know, that being in the way. Let's take the top off. I've got a couple of trays here. 2 trays and another one there, 3. I'll put it so that when I'm taking parts off, they're still in shot. Okay, that's still got fuel in it, so I'll tip that out. Can you see that it's wet there, look, underneath the carb? So that'd be interesting to see, because I tried not to spill any when I picked it up. This is a pain because it means you can't get onto that screw. I might leave it off when I put it back together. I had that open, didn't I? Oh, blimey. That's going to be an air leak. Right. Okay. Nonetheless, that I don't think that would make it run rich, would it? I just noticed that there's 2 gaskets on there. So I just wondered if that would make this bottom out on here, but that closes there, so with the gasket it'd be even more clear, so that's not an issue. Just pull that out of there. Definitely seemed like more came out of there than there. You know, you'd have to say there's nothing sort of frighteningly wrong that you can see. One-inch AF. Not over tight. Okay. I can see something there that's not right. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I can see through the gap. I can see daylight through the gap. Hang on. Yeah, definitely. Can you see? Let me try and get this angled right. Okay. Yeah, can you see what I can see? The bodies are fairly badly bowed. See that? So what you can do, you can lap that flat on a flat plate, and you can have a go at lapping this one flat on a flat plate. But because I've got a milling machine, I can use a fly cutter and do it easily. So I'm going to get these set up on the milling machine and just give them the lightest skim. The only thing that makes it difficult is that there. But you know, hey, you can't have everything. And I think that will start us off in the right direction. So let's take that screw out of there and get that off. Can you hear the rain on the roof? We had snow recently and now it's raining. Right, I just want to see what this does when I... Okay, it goes like that. So you want to offer it back on in that kind of direction there, like that, with this paddle over here. Okay, good. I'll take these out because I want to check the holes in there. Yeah, I need to take these out because they sit above this surface, so I can't clamp it flat on there. This is a job that I've been doing on my own carbs. There's a plunger in there that should come out. There it is. So those two gaskets have stayed in place. I'm going to leave them alone. And those two are not there, so... Well, that one's got a gasket and nothing there. And that... Hang on, which one's which? That's that one. So that one has a gasket there, but not there. Oh, there's a gasket, so maybe that one fell out when I tipped it upside down. Okay, fair enough. Okay. And this one hasn't got any gaskets, and that's the one for there, so that makes sense. So I'll take all the gaskets out for safety then. I'll leave the jets in for now, I think. So we're going to skim this. I'll skim this very lightly. Skim it as lightly as I can. Tip it upside down and skim this. And I'll do the same here if I can. I can't skim this one. I suppose I could. No, I'll leave this one, but I'll skim that one, or I might just lap that one on a flat plate. I think this one probably isn't too bad. I think all the error will be in here. Yeah, you can kind of see it, to be honest. Okay, I'll bring you back when I am set up. Okay, I've got it set up on here. Let's give it a little skim. Okay, that's good that it touches at both sides. So I'll put, I don't know, let's say 5 thou. No, let's say 10 thou. Let's take another 10 thou. Seems a lot though, doesn't it? I'm going to say that's cleaned up as close as what we need. Gotta be careful because I've got this thing here, you see. Okay, that's just started to touch that raised boss. Okay, I'll turn it off. Right, stop, so have a little poke about. I can't feel that there. It's rather a coarse finish. I was winding it quite fast though, but I think that's flat now. That was a 20 thou cut. Quite a lot, isn't it, really, when you think about it? It didn't touch that though. Okay. Hopefully that will serve, you know, as a mating face now. It's quite simple to do once you've set up. It doesn't take long. It's setting it. Well, I had to tear all the machine down because I had something else set up. But you know, hey ho. I don't imagine the camera angle was optimum, but you get the idea. I might take it and just very gently lap it now that I've kind of, if you like, broke the back of it, you know. Now I've kind of took the vast majority of the material off. But this makes it awkward to lap. Okay, right, we'll call that good. I've got a problem here because that nut's in the way. I spent quite a while tramming the head on this machine, so yeah. There's a few places where it's not touching, to be honest. So. Oh, that's at the end of the travel of the machine. Let's go 10 thou from there. Well, that's got all that lot cleaned up, and that's as far as I can go on that. Let's bring it away from the cutter. Okay, right, back in a bit. I decided to just take a very light skim off the base. I could still see daylight when I offered them together, this and the body, so let's have a look, see what that does for us. Okay. Just in case there's any high spots. I think that's okay, isn't it? Okay, good. Trying to work out if that gasket is compressed or not. Put some little marks on it. Well, okay, let's say that's like that, which isn't tight, it's just I can't rotate that. Can I do it now? I can't rotate it, so it must be tight. because I've machined this and machined this, I want to just use one gasket if I can. I'm using a very big spanner, but you know, you have to be cautious with the amount of torque that you apply. Okay, that closes down without a gasket, so it is clear. Quarter UNF on that one. I'm going to leave this off. Judging by the screws, this carb's been, you know, apart and reassembled many times. I'm not doing a full rebuild on this, I'm just repairing what it was an obvious problem. The other thing that didn't seem right was that one of these nozzles wasn't pumping. So that one hasn't gone in. No, that one goes right in, you see. This one doesn't go right in. Oh, it's gone now, look. Yeah, that's okay now, look, can you see? Hopefully you can. Okay, that's gone right the way in now. That's gone right the way in, so that's 2 strands all the way to there. If you put that little bit in your mouth, if you blow in there, you can feel these 2 blowing back against your face. Okay, good, so that can go back in then. There's a little plunger there that goes in there, and it goes needle down, I think, like that. Whoops, there's a gasket. There's lots of little holes here, but only 1 or 2 that are. I'm not going to take them apart, because it did seem to run quite powerful once it was running. There's I've got another video where I went into a little bit more detail on this sort of thing. That's quite a handy way of getting the little gaskets in place. Just put them on there and then let it slide down. Okay, which one's which? Those little things go towards the inside. Just have a look to see that these are relatively flat. Two longer screws go this side. I know it's a bit clumsy wearing gloves, but the garage is unheated, and when everything you touch is freezing cold, you know, you can end up with problems with your hands, can't you? Your joints and things. Okay, good. Just put a little bit of fuel on that. Some of the fuel that I drained out. That might be a problem. I think the float level might be a bit too low. Yeah, definitely. Okay. You only need a relatively small gap here. And you can see there the sort of the fuel level, and it's not parallel to the face, so the fuel level would have been further up. You know, imagine that swung round. Let me go and check. Float level adjustment 1 7/16. Float level adjustment 1 11/32. So 1 11/32. Now, I bought a tool the other day. I wonder if I might be able to use it for doing this. I bought this lovely little square, Moore and Wright, Sheffield, England. So I thought if I set that to 1 11/32, using this really old rule, which is marked in 64ths. Okay, so how does this work then? So where's 11/32 on there? That's ½ inch, isn't it? That's ½ inch, that's 3/8. 11/32, hang on a minute. A quarter is 12/32, isn't it? No, it ain't. A quarter is 8/32. 5/16 is 10/32. So it's one. Bloody hell, this is really. My eyes aren't good enough anymore for doing this. Okay, I could do that, but I can't do it because I can't read the thing. So what we're looking for? 11/32, right. 11/32. There's 11/32, right? 0.3438 there. 11/32, 0.3438. 0.3438. So we're looking for 1.3438. 1.344. 1.3438, 1.344. That's as close as I can get. So then, I mean, I might be able to use these, but not quite. So then we use this to set that, which is just set there. I've just locked it there. Okay, so this needs to read like that, down to that flat face there. Look, and it's what? It's miles too low, isn't it? Look, it's that much too low. So I need to bend that tag to raise the float. Now, what you're not supposed to do is just, you know, press it to bend it, because you might damage the needle valve. Bend it a bit, see what happens. Just having a quick look at that. It is a rubber tipped needle. I tend not to use those, but I suppose you have to use what you can get. Okay, so how's that looking? Oh, blimey, that's still slightly low. Can you see that I'm having to sort of compress it a little bit to get it there? Okay. Oh, actually it's okay. Yeah, okay, it's not quite touching, but it's very, very close, isn't it? When you consider how far out it was before. That'll do then. Now there's another measurement. One 7/16. That's that measurement there. So let's get that. That's miles too low. I can kind of measure that using this. So for that one you have to bend that tag at the back there, that little tag there. Just trying to think if I can do this. Yeah. Right. I like this little gauge, it's nice. Proper quality piece, you know. How did I do that? So it's still the short side. A little bit harder to hold it. So it needs a bit more, doesn't it? because it's still too low. That's pretty close actually. I'm going to say that's alright. That'll do, because that's like a non-critical dimension, that one. Okay, so that's the float level set then. I've just thought of another job that I wanted to do. I want to modify this to get rid of this big ring on here, but that float is set now to this carburetor. Okay, so let's take this out. Yeah, I could do like a big flat bladed screwdriver. Hang on, let me have a think. This is you know, like a thing from a steel rule set. West Germany it says on it. Don't know if you can read that just there. But sometimes these are good for just cracking these off. The reason I'm taking it out is because I need to take it out to do that little skimming job. Okay. Right, the ignition is on, so let's give it some choke because it's cold. Keep your face clear. Obviously the float bowl is empty. Let me just, I think it's in neutral. Yeah. Killed it. I'll give that a run later today and see how it goes, and if everything's fine that can go back onto Richard's engine then. Okay, thanks for joining me in the garage then. Take care and I'll catch you on the next one. It's a couple of hours later and I'm going to start the truck. And I'm actually going to go and do a job. So I'm going to start the truck, load it up and take it out on the road. But I think I'll put the camera in the truck and do a little bit of footage out on the road, just to show that the carb's driving okay. Cross fingers, I hope it's driving okay. I haven't driven it yet, so let's find out. I might need choke to start it and the choke's not connected, so I'll do it under the bonnet. Okay, well that started up okay, didn't it? So good. Let's get set up in the car, in the truck. This is Richard's carb on my truck. No choke now. Got the ladders on the roof. I'm going to my son's. I tend to look a bit stern when I'm driving, but you know, I'm kind of weighing up, is the carb okay? It feels alright, but things are still a bit cold at the moment. It's actually quite warm today, but it feels cold. It's good to get the old truck out. Having said that though, I think I'm going to have to go and get some fuel. Yeah, the idle's a bit fast. Right, 144.9 this side of the road, 146.9 that side. Sorry, that side 144.9, 146 that side, so we'll go here. I'll get the super stuff though if I've got it. Fillers on the left. This is Sainsbury's car, Sainsbury's supermarket. Right, there's a triple full. Hopefully. Okay, good. Right, turn the engine off. Yeah, a bit of a fast idle that, isn't it? It's really hard to fill this. It just keeps splashing back. Okay, let's have a bit of windscreen footage, and then we'll drive down through Shirley. Beautiful downtown Shirley. Got my new tyres on the front. switch there, look. Just paid just over £1.50 for super unleaded, which is the lower level of ethanol. Today, but it does feel a little bit chilly. I think it's coming over for a bit of rain later. Of course, this motor's got that crank in it, hasn't it, that I repaired. Let's do a lane change. The old 41 Dyson in the traffic. Oh, stop. You get a decent view when you're driving the truck because you're kind of higher up than most of the other drivers. Turn the engine off with it running like that. This is ridiculous. Look, this is the notorious Robin Hood Island. See how dangerous it is. When they put the lights on this island, look at that, crazy. When they put the lights on this island, somebody wrote to the local paper or something like that and said, the person that introduced the lights at Robin Hood Island, does that person drive? .30 limit down here. It used to be 40, but they changed it to 30. You can catch you out if you're not pushing out on your toes. Dad used to live down here. Holley's Road, this is. See the bus stop here on the left. You count 3 lampposts, there's 1, 2, 3. Past this car with a dent. Where that Fiat is there on the left, the skin. That's my other son's car, that Fiat. My son lives out there. Think of the best way, go right, Mart. Got to get to my other sons. say that this carburetor is okay, other than, you know, just adjust the idle down a bit. Might want a little tweak on the idle mixture. Okay. Okay, right, that'll do. We'll catch you later. Hope you enjoyed the drive in the truck. Well, there you go. There's the old truck at my son's, and yes, it's going okay, and a couple of little tweaks, and I'm sure that carb will be fine. Tyres are okay, and hopefully the camera mount's been alright as well. Okay, let's have a look at this job that needs doing. Yeah, this carb's running really well now. Runs just like the other one. So what did I do to it? I machined all the surfaces to flatten them. I blew out the accelerator pump nozzles. Not blew them out, you know, prodded them out, blew them out. And then found that the float level was much too low, so I set all that. And it was nice to use that tool that I bought, that engineer's tool. Yeah, that was really nice, that was actually. Okay. Thanks for joining me in the truck then. Little job, testing the carb. And I think you'd have to say it's a success. So the next thing to do would be to go back to Richard's truck, put this carb on, go through the ignition logically, just completely ignore anything that went before, start from scratch, and go through it logically. I've had some good pointers and suggestions from people who very kindly take time to, you know, make suggestions. So let's go through it all nice and logically, and I'm sure it'll run like a top. Okay, thanks a lot then. Take care, and I'll catch you next time. Bye. Ooh.